Hello everybody, this is Dave Blair from the Sim Pit crew. Today is April 27th of 2019 and yeah, this was a race that I had in RaceRoom. I finally got it working with my VR headset and launching through Sim Racing System. So basically I just jumped into this race. Didn't have any time to set up. I picked the Camaro here. You can see there's a little bit of chaos here in the beginning. It's a 20-minute race. I wasn't too familiar with this track, but because it's a new season with Sim Racing System in RaceRoom, I wanted to jump in here and give it a go. Again, I didn't do any research. Oh, I had to weave my way through these people. Very aggressive out here. You can see the rubbing right in front of me. This was an interesting race, so I thought I would just cover it since it's the first race of this season. So in Sim Racing System they run 6 weeks of races per season, and I had originally thought that I was going to be getting into the Sim Pit series, but this is just a GT3 series, and at the end I will show you the Sim Racing System way that it tracks. So again, this was just an impromptu race. I knew the season was starting and I wanted to get in and you know, take part in this season. So this is a Saturday morning for me, and yeah, just a lot of good competition. Normally when I go on RaceRoom and I'm looking for a race during the week, I may find, usually less than 10 people online. But if you go in on the weekends, that's when everybody's there, because they're usually taking part in these Sim Racing System races. But they also do stick around, especially if they want to get in another race, they may be there in the multiplayer lobbies. So on the weekend is a good time to jump into RaceRoom. That's usually when you're going to find the crowd, and these guys usually know what they're doing. So again, pretty tough competition in this one. We can also, I'll cycle around, show everybody where we're at. This doesn't show what position I'm in right here. A lot of people running the Porsche on this one. Again, normally, if I did a little research, I might find what would be the best car for this track, but I just picked the Camaro. I wasn't too concerned about it. Matter of fact, I didn't even have my controls completely set up to the way I wanted them. But I was mainly concerned with trying to get the Sim Racing System and RaceRoom to work together with my VR, which I finally figured that out. It's a little tricky. You're going to have to go to the forums. Maybe there's a video on YouTube. Maybe I should make a video. And this doesn't tell me what position these guys are in, so I apologize for that. But a lot of people running the Porsche. A couple Mercedes here. Yeah, we've seen this paint job before. And we'll get back on board with me. It looks like I'm the only one in the Camaro. I think if I do this, okay, there's the TV version. But yeah, I just saw the green paint. It kind of jumped out at me, and I was like, okay, I'll run the Camaro. But probably not the best choice of car for this track. This track is pretty technical. It's got a lot of tight corners. The Porsche probably would have been the better option. But yeah, if you guys are not taking advantage of RaceRoom and the Sim Racing System, the question I have for you is why not? It's got some good racing out here. And again, you can door bang with these guys, and it doesn't really I'm not going to say that it doesn't. It's not like iRacing, I'll put it that way. You know, in iRacing, you hit somebody, usually you take a lot of damage, your car is undrivable, but that is not the case here. You can get away with bumping and grinding through the race, and it really doesn't impact your car too much. But I'm gonna try and run a race. And like I said, I wanted to do the sim pit, and I'll show you the schedule coming up. But it doesn't look like it's going to work for my time frame. But I will try to do one of these races, and since I'm doing the GT3, it seems to be the right time and day for me. You know, and maybe I'll do a little research and pick a better car for the next track combination. But we can look at the schedule coming up. I'll pull all that up at the end of this race. So this is basically a 20-minute race. And again, we can cycle through some of these cars. I wish I could pull up what position I'm in. I don't remember how to do that. Somebody sent me a text. But either way, I'll have the results at the end. Now, I did have an incident. I really tried to avoid everything, but I did have an incident towards the end of the race, which I will cover. Oh, there I got sideways there. Let me back that up. And we'll go. I think this is on board here. Yeah, so again, this car, it can get the back end can break loose on you, which it did for me right here. So this is GT3 car, and you've got to pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, now we're back on board with me. Okay, so this guy right in front of me, I did have an incident with him later on, and I was on the last lap. I did slow down and give him the position back, but yeah, it's just not an easy course to run on this car. So there, I got the pass done. Again, I'm not sure how to pull up the position indicator, and I thought when you were in the car it showed you, but it didn't. Over here. Okay, what is that? I'm in 16th place, I believe that's what that is right there. Yep, so I'm sandwiched between two Porsches. But this is some good, tight, close, clean racing. I really had a lot of fun with this race, too. Yeah, see that I was definitely faster in a straight line, but again, I think the Porsche was the better car for this track because it was so tight there. I blew that corner. So again, not perfect, but I was, I was fiddling around with everything, trying to get this thing to run with my VR so it would launch correctly. I wish it was a little better. I wish it was more like a Assetto Corsa, where you could just, it was incorporated into the game. But when you're doing RaceRoom, you have to have Steam open, but do not open the game. You cannot have RaceRoom open. It launches from Sim Racing System. So, and then there's other things that you have to do in order for it to launch into VR. So I'm getting loose again. The other thing too, I also have I have Crew Chief app on, so he was constantly, in my ear. That again, you can see like I was always had somebody around me. We bump a little bit right there. But, if you run the Crew Chief app, he's always in your ear. Hey, you got somebody on your right. Now, I didn't feel like I deserved that, but he gave the position back. Again, if this was iRacing, a bump like that would probably send you to the pit for repair. So I will say, RaceRoom does take a little work, but this is, as far as you have to go to their store to buy the content, the easiest way to do it is just to buy a whole package. You buy the package, you get a whole bunch of cars and tracks, and then you need to download the Sim Racing System app. I definitely recommend the Crew Chief app, and then you have to tell it you're racing RaceRoom. And I'm trying to think, do I run anything else? No, you can pretty much, when you buy the packages on RaceRoom, you get all the liveries. Or if you want to save some money, you can just buy the livery that you want to run. It might save you some money, but that was a nice pass by that guy, the blue Porsche there in front of me. The other thing I've noticed too is, well, this is Saturday morning for me. This is Saturday evening for everybody over in Europe. So there, I'm getting loose on that same corner again. But no, there's a lot of guys, a lot of fast guys from Europe. So you can see I'm in 17th position here. I think there was 22 of us starting in the race. I don't remember how many started. But yeah, I qualified towards the back of the pack. I was having a hard time keeping up with everybody. Again, I didn't have everything set up right. I didn't know what car I was using. So, I'm not trying to make any excuses. I just went out and did the best I could with very little practice or planning. I had no practice. Basically, when I finally got the game to launch and jump in, it was time for qualifying. So, but that's another thing I was talking about. When you get the Sim Racing System to launch, it launches the game, and it launches in VR, and it takes a while for it to come up. So while everyone else is out, I think they get like 3 minutes or 5 minutes of practice. It took me that long just to get everything launched. And then I was sitting on pit road. I started my car, I pulled out of pit, and then it was time for qualifying. So I didn't even get any practice. But you do get 10 minutes of qualifying, and you're actually on the track by yourself. So I went out, and I think I did like 4 laps in my qualifying session, so that was nice. And then the race just kicks off from there. Everything's pretty much automatic. I definitely like RaceRoom though. It has a lot of good things going for it. I think the graphics are really good, especially in VR. I think, iRacing has really good VR, but the graphics tend to be a little flat. Project Cars 2 is really good in VR, but I feel like the graphics are almost too demanding, even with everything turned down. So, Project Cars 2, it'd be nice if you could, I don't know, like flatten out the graphics and get it to run smoother like it does in iRacing. But as far as I'm concerned, though, RaceRoom's pretty good. when you're sitting in the car in VR, the car feels like you're sitting in a real car. I mean, it's big. The track is big. You don't feel like everything has been miniaturized as like a game, if that makes any sense. Whereas in iRacing, I feel like, you know, things aren't one-to-one. Everything has been shrunk down a little bit. Oh, he went wide there. I'll take that position. Oh, again, this thing, you have to really be careful on the throttle. All right, here's where I think I make my mistake. This should be towards the end of the race here. No, because it's this corner. I take that guy out in front of me. Might be next lap then. But even in Project Cars 2, I feel like it's not one-to-one. Like when I'm sitting there in VR, it feels like the car is smaller than what it would be in real life, if that makes any sense to anybody. Alright, we're going to take a look at the guy behind me. Yeah, these two guys end up catching me in the last lap, so we're getting close. This guy could be the race leader, I'm not sure. Oh, we've seen this paint job too. Let's see. Yeah. Thought that looked familiar. Alright, let's get back on board with me here. I'm really not even sure how many laps are left. But we're on lap 10. It shows I'm still in 17th position. Alright, we'll speed it up a little bit. I mainly wanted to show off the RaceRoom in sim racing system. Oh, he blew that corner. Yep, so I got a little bump from him there. A Porsche. And now we got that McLaren, and I was thinking about splitting these two guys going into that first corner, but I was like, no, I can't hold that corner, so I'm just going to stay right here and I'm back off. That worked out pretty well for me there. Again, you know, even with these races, you know, there's a lot of bumping and bashing going on in RaceRoom, but I still try to be as respectful as I can. I mean, it is hard, especially with, you know, when you're getting bumped around and you're like, okay, you know, I can dish it out too, but I try to be respectful. You know, I don't want to plow anybody off in the first corner and stuff like that, but I do hit the guy in front of me, and then I gave him the spot back at the end of the race. We'll speed it up again. But I really enjoyed this race, even though I wasn't really prepared. Oh, here it is. This is where I got a little aggressive, and he just outbroke me there. And then I was holding this guy up behind me, so I was like, well, I'll just go, and then I'll remember who that was, and I'll give him his spot back. The other thing, too, is, you know, I mean, I have crew chief in my ear, you know, telling me, oh, come on, Dave, you know. So it's yeah. Let's see. He's yeah, he's a ways back. This is the guy that I knocked off. So this is to be the last lap right here. And I kept thinking, well, let me wait for him. And then I was like, well, he was like 7 seconds behind me at this point. And I was like, well, I'll just give it back to him before I cross the finish line then. I felt bad for hitting him, but, you know, and had him and I not gotten into it, these two that are in front of us, the two McLarens right now, might not have been in front of us. So, I don't know. I felt bad about it, but then again, I'm back here in 18th spot, so I don't feel too bad about it. Like, it's not like we were first and second, you know what I mean? Alright, let me speed this up. So again, this is the last lap. We'll just take this around. Yeah, and I don't know if it was just the Camaro or if it's all the GT3s, but getting on the throttle too fast just made this car really want to spin the tires, so I'm trying to use good throttle control. And I had like 2 spins, minor. Well, one was a little major than minor, but yeah, this is the last corner. And then you can see I'm slowing down here, waiting for him, because he's still ways back. So I gave him his spot back. And he did type thanks in the comments, so he even slowed down for me. Anyway, it was a good race. I had a lot of fun. I came in, I guess, 18th at the end there. And we'll jump out of here and we'll take a look at the sim racing system. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's my sim racing system. And this was the GTR3 that we ran. And you can see the schedule here. Next week we're going to be at Imola, and there's plenty of races. This one is not just a one-time deal, but I believe I ran the 12 o'clock. This is the one I thought I was going to be running in the Sim Pit one, but it doesn't start until Sunday, and that's at Brands Hatch. So I'm not going to be in that one. But yeah, they have plenty of races in here. There's a Gamer Muscle one, random call sign. But this is the one that I'm doing, and I'll probably do that again next week, Saturday, assuming I'm going to be here. And then I can go in here and click on the races. This is the one that I ran, the 12 o'clock. And then you can see the finishing place here. I finished 18th out of 22. Which again, not that great, but I wasn't really prepared for it either. But you can see the Porsche, BMW, and McLaren up there, 1, 2, 3. So at least it wasn't all one manufacturer, but you can see the Porsche just ran away with it from first all the way through to the end. And since this one is run so many times, I go to the standings. And instead of being in the 18th spot, I'm way down. Way down. Towards the bottom, 137. But it's fine. I don't know. You know, again, this clumps in everybody together. So you've had first place finishers of 14 people. So there's been at least 14 races, and you're just all clumped together here. But it's still nice to have the standings. But whereas if you run in something like the Sim Pit, it should be just one race, and then you get, you know, the standings will be just based on that one race. Yeah, there's only 11 o'clock here for 20 minutes. So those are the ones I normally like to run because I like to know where I finish in the series according to everybody else. But in the ones that are open that have multiple times, it can get a little confusing with your standings. But anyway, just thought I'd share, and thank you all for watching.